Hello everyone, I'm Batpan, the man who's been eating apple. Today we're doing something a little different. We're gonna make a peeing system in Unity. Yep, you heard that right. If you ever played the Fathom, you know that sometimes the scariest thing isn't the monster in the house. It's realizing your character hasn't been to the bathroom in 12 hours. By the end of this video, your character is gonna relieve themselves in the most immersive way possible. Finally, true next-gen realism. Forget ray tracing, this is P-tracing. This video is gonna be put inside a series of videos covering Unity tips and tricks, which can actually help you in your game dev journey, and also in another playlist of videos covering functions from the game Fathom. You can actually check it out through the channel. I publish my own retro horror game called Fractured Psyche. If you're into this stuff, you can actually check it out with a link in the description. All the files used and created in this video are in my GitHub. You can actually get to it again with a link in the description. With all that being said, let's put on the mask and begin. We have a scene here. We have a toilet. We have this peeing particle system that I actually showed you guys in a short video and a post. We also have some audios for peeing, for zip down, and for zip up. You guys can actually get this stuff with a link in the description. I'll put all of these in my GitHub. I have this particle system. To create this particle system, you guys gotta have to do some stuff. I'm gonna make it a prefab inside this folder, so you guys can actually drag and drop this in your scene. You're gonna create a new particle system and give the values like me. So I'm just gonna create a effects particle system, normally like this. I'm gonna make it 0, so it is shooting this way, and I'm gonna give these values, the values from this to this one, 2, 0, 10, 6, like this. Then you have 0.1. The important part is the shape. So as you see inside this shape, angle is 0 and the radius is the lowest amount. So I'm just gonna say angle 0 and the radius the lowest amount. As you see, it has this effect. For the emission, I'm gonna put it on 20 because this particle system is on 20. Also, the important thing you gotta check is this gravity modifier. Put it on 1, so it is not shooting forward, it is down. If you put it like 2, it goes even further. So 1 is okay. I put this one on 1, and the simulation space should be on world. But we don't need circles, so I'm just gonna go into my particle system. As you see, inside the renderer, we have these values. Instead of billboard, we put stretched billboard. So particle system renderer, put stretched billboard. Speed should be 0.2. As you see, we're kind of getting that effect. So for the color, I have a material here. I can drag and drop it here. But by default, you guys don't have that material. You can get it with a link in the description inside GitHub. But if you don't have it, no worries. I'll tell you guys how to make it. So to take this material and copy its value and change its color, you're gonna go to this render tab, find your default particle system, double click on it. And once you double click on it, this tab will appear. You can right click on it and just say copy material properties, and when you copy it, and then you go ahead and create a new material. You can call it whatever you want. I'm gonna call it peeing, and right click on your material and say paste material properties, and now you have that material with yourself. As you see, I change it. The color changes a little because you can put this on transparent to make it even better. So I'm gonna change the color of it, change some stuff on it, make it metallic, and I don't need this stuff, and I don't need emission. Now you can change colors. You can give it like yellowish color, any color you want for that peeing effect. As you see, we now created a variant for that peeing effect. Now I already have it, so I'm gonna delete this. This is what I have. And once you create that particle system, I'm using the FPS controller from the Unity standard assets. You can actually download it, the link in the description. And it also has a camera, so you have to make your particle system a child of your camera. And once it is there, you gotta reset its transform, so it is at the exact position of your camera. Now as you see, it is a little bit up, so you're just gonna move it a little bit down, and you're gonna move it a little bit forward until you're satisfied with the result. Yeah, like here is okay for me. So now I have this particle system attached to my camera, and that is how to create the particle system. Then the next thing we're gonna create is we're gonna interact. So I'm just gonna deactivate it by default because it is not activated by default. Now we're gonna interact with our toilet, and then we can pee. We gotta select our toilet. I already gave it a tag of toilet, but by default it is on untagged. So what you gotta do is you're gonna select your toilet, you're gonna go to it, and you're gonna give it a box collider if it doesn't have one. I already gave it a box collider. You just give it a box collider, and you can change the the position of it. And also you have to give it a tag, so go to this tag section, go to this add tag, and you can just give and add a tag of toilet. Since I already have it, it's not gonna add one, but be careful, it is not given yet, so you're gonna again select your toilet and go to this tag section and give it the tag you given. The big and the small versions of the letter matter here, so be careful. So now that we created this, we need to create a system so we can interact with the toilet, and when we interact with the toilet, we can, start, that peeing system. I'm gonna create a script folder. I'm gonna create a mono behavior script. I'm gonna say first to Fathom peeing system script and double click to open it up. We have that, peeing sound effect. Before getting there, I'm gonna create an empty object. I'm gonna call it audios. Then I'm gonna create another empty object as a child of that audios. I'm gonna call it peeing sound. And inside this add component, I'm gonna give it a audio source, and I'm gonna say uncheck play on awake and click on looped, and I'm gonna lock it so wherever I click this doesn't change. I'm gonna give it this peeing audio source. So now it's gonna play the peeing audio source when I tell it to play. Then I need another empty object. I'm gonna call it zip player, which is an audio source. Uncheck this play on awake, which is an audio source we're gonna use to play the zip down and zip up audio clips. So now we have set up our audio sources. We're gonna go inside our script. Inside our script, we're gonna do some stuff. The things we're gonna do inside our script are, we first need a private boolean, which is called can interact, which is equal to true at the start because we can interact. We need a reference to our particle system, peeing particle system, so serialized field, private game object, p particle. Then we also need a reference to our audio sources, so serialized field, private audio source, peeing source, which is we're gonna play. Then we need a serialized field, private audio source for our zip player, which we're gonna use to play our two audio clips. So we have two audio clips. So I'm just gonna say private audio clip. I'm gonna make it an array. I'm gonna say zip clips. I made it an array. Array is kind of, putting multiple objects of the same type inside one actual object. So instead of saying zip clip 1 and 2, I made it an array. And when I'm referencing it, I'm just gonna say audio clip house number 0. You'll actually see it in the upcoming minutes, no worries. So house number 0 is zip down and house number 1 is zip up. I'm gonna put it as a reference here so I don't confuse it. The next thing we need is a reference to our FPS controller. So when we're peeing, we can't look anywhere else and we can't, move. If you're actually using Unity FPS controller from the standard assets like me, what you're gonna do is you're gonna add using Unity standard assets .characters .first person. You gotta add this up here so you can actually get a reference to your script down here. So serialized field, private first person controller script. I'm gonna call it FPS script. That is it. So these are all the references you're gonna need. We don't need void start right here, so we can delete it. Inside our void update, we're gonna create a very simple interaction system. So first we're gonna check if we can interact or not. So we say if can interact is equal to true, we can go ahead and interact. Then if we can interact and we go ahead and press the left mouse button, so we say if input.get mouse button down, mouse button 0. So if we press the left mouse and we can interact, we go ahead and shoot array, which is equal to new array transform.position to transform.forward. I'm gonna write it, then I'm gonna explain it to you guys. Raycast hit called hit. So what are these two lines? I'm gonna shoot an invisible laser. You're gonna say like a laser thing that is gonna be shot camera's position to forward. This is gonna hit something, and the object that this laser hits is gonna be put inside this hit. So it's gonna be called raycast hit. So then down here we're gonna check if the invisible laser we shot actually hit anything. So we say if physics.raycast, as you see, in a distance of 10, for example. So what we're gonna see is if our invisible laser, if it actually hits something in a distance of 10. So anything in a radius of 10 will be shot in a distance of 10. Then we're gonna say if the thing we hit has a tag of, for example, toilet. So we're gonna say if hit.collider.compare tag, if it actually has a tag of toilet. So what we're gonna do, so be careful, this toilet is gonna be exactly the same thing as the tag you created. The capital T, the small O, and the small I, the capital and the small versions of the letter matter here. So as you see, first we check if we can interact, then we check if we press the left mouse. If we did, we actually shoot an invisible laser. Then we check if the laser hit anything in a distance of 10. If it actually did, we go inside it and we check if the thing we hit has a tag of toilet. If it did, we can go ahead and start peeing. As easy as that. That is a very simple interaction system. So for the peeing function, I'm gonna put it inside an enumerator. Our enumerator is a thing. I'm gonna call it PCO. Our enumerator is a thing that we can use to wait for some time. For example, I'm gonna say start peeing, wait for 5 seconds, then stop peeing. To actually gain that effect, you're gonna put it inside an enumerator, and it's gonna give an error. No worries, we'll fix it in the upcoming minutes. First, we're gonna say can interact equal to false, because we cannot interact again until we stop, peeing. Then I'm gonna, play the zip down audio. So we're gonna say zip player, the audio source for the playing the zip clips dot play one shot. So we're gonna play one time. What are we gonna play? Zip clips house number 0, and that is how you give it a reference. So you take your audio source that we created for the zip player, this one right here, we give it the first house of the zip clips that we created. As we see, house number 0 is gonna be our zip down. So we're gonna play our zip down audio. Also, what we're gonna do is we're gonna stop our player from moving or rotating the camera. So we're just gonna say FPS script that enable false. So I'm just gonna deactivate the whole script, and then I'm gonna wait for 0.5 f seconds. So yield return new, wait for seconds. I'm gonna wait for half a second. Then I'm gonna play the p particle. So p particle that's set active true. I also will play the p sound. So peeing source that play this time, because it is an audio source. I'm gonna give it the audios. The important thing here, so let me just create it, then I'll tell you. So I'm just gonna wait for yield return new, wait for seconds. I'm gonna wait for 5 seconds. Then I'm gonna stop peeing. So I'm just gonna say peeing source dot stop. I'm gonna stop my peeing audio from happening, and then I'm gonna say zip player that play one shot. This time I'm gonna play the zip clips house number 1, which is our zip up audio clip. And after that, I'm gonna wait, yield return new, wait for seconds. I'm gonna wait for 1 second, and then I'm gonna reset everything. So I'm just gonna say p particle that's set active false, and can interact equal to true. So we can interact again and p again. The thing is, normally you have to put this p particle that's set active here. We can go ahead and check this one out, then I'll come back and fix some stuff to make it even better. We created the functions. What we need is we need to call this function up here. So calling our enumerators is like this. So start coroutine, you're gonna say start coroutine PCO, and that is how you call that function. We can go ahead and check this out, then we'll come back and make some things better. So I'm going to select my camera on the FPS controller, not the player, the camera. It exactly has to be on the camera. Peeing system script, what it needs is a p particle, which is deactivated. I'm going to give it a peeing audio source. This is the audio source. You can drag and drop it or click on the circle to find it. Then I need the zip player. I'm going to give it. Then we need zip clips. We have 2 clips, and as I told you guys, house number 0, element 0 is our zip down, and our element 1 is our zip up, as we wrote up here, as you see. So we give it like this, and it needs FPS script. You can click on the circle to find it, or you can just give your FPS controller to it. One thing we forgot to do was activating the FPS script again, so we can move. So we're just gonna say FPS script that enable true. Now we can go ahead and check it out. As you see, I'm gonna go here. As you see, the P suddenly stopped, it didn't, end, it just, disappeared. To prevent this from happening, what you guys can do is, you can just get a reference of a particle system here, you can just give it down here, but I'm just gonna, get a reference up here. It is easier to understand. So serialized field private particle system PP, because we have a P particle up here. So PP is our P particle. So what we're gonna do is, when we stop, peeing, and we're gonna, play the zip up audio, we're gonna stop our PP particle system. We're gonna stop our particle system and not, just deactivate the whole object. We're gonna stop the particle system, and after 1 second, we're gonna, deactivate the whole, object. So PP dot stop. What you're gonna see is pp.stop, and this one line is gonna make your particle system look way better. And down here we're just gonna say p particle that's set active false. So we can go ahead and check it out. We're gonna go inside our script, and it's gonna need a particle system. Again, you're gonna give your particle system. This time it's gonna get its particle system, not the game object. We can go ahead and check it out. See? So did you see that? the particle didn't, just completely stop, disappear from, existence. It stopped, and after 1 second, we just deactivate the whole object, and we can, interact again. Yeah, that is it. That's how to create the ping system like Fierce the Fathom in Unity. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this video wasn't kind of the best thing, but it was actually a function from the game that we had to cover. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be very amazing. You can actually subscribe to see more contents like this. If you guys have any comments, any opinions, any scenarios in the playlist, comment down below. I would be very happy to answer it. Thank you guys for all your support. You guys are amazing. Hope all the very best for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.